Hello, and welcome to today's episode of My name is Jana Masiak, and I'm so excited to have a conversation. Discernment. What does that discernment means? Why is it important? And can help you achieve your. And please say hello. Let me know where you're coming from. Tuning in on a replay. I'm so happy to greet you. I'm so happy you are here. And today I want to start with a story. How did it all started? Working on improving my own and also help. Let me know how it works right now. A lot of static. Okay, that's not good. All right. Give me 1 second. My apologies. Let me see if that is better. Let me see. I'm trying to work through this, so just bear with me. My husband is trying to um, check for me as well. I'm just gonna give it a couple seconds. Right. Let's see if that's gonna work better. All right. Can you hear me now? I hope you can hear me well.
the plugin here, and I hope that works now. Okay. Yes, it was working fine. You can hear me? Okay, perfect. I think we're good. So my apologies for tech check. This morning is, hey, this is how morning starts, right? And I thank you so much for letting me know that it was not working well. I hope it works well right now. And we can go on in our conversation. So I wanted to share the story, how it all started for me. And hopefully you can resonate with that. And thank you for sticking with me during these technical difficulties. All right. So looking back, when I was in my role 4 years ago, I was concerned if I'm performing to my best ability and if I'm contributing to my potential, if I'm developing and growing to my potential. And at the same time, because I did not feel that perhaps the value I'm bringing to the table was really appreciated, I felt somewhat out of sync. And I did not quite know what to do until I met a fantastic coach. And this lady has been an instrumental in how she helped me to navigate through some of these internal challenges that sometimes manifest and affect your performance. And this lady, she's been in HR for many years. And she introduced me to a fantastic, unique tool that measure your capacity for discernment, your capacity for good judgment. And interestingly enough, I did not realize that certain areas that were somewhat of a spots that took the energy from me, and there were some of the areas that really I did not know that I'm lacking developing. So that particular tool gave me a lot of awareness and gave me an insight on how can I improve on moving myself toward what I want to achieve in my personal life, which was interestingly enough, although that was related to a professional arena, but also in my professional life, and how can I improve going forward. So that really affected and gave me a great of boost of, I say, self-confidence in my ability to figure things out. And that is the birth of what I'm doing right now and why I'm so passionate about powering unique you, and today's topic specifically about discernment. So discernment is really, how do you define discernment? How do you define good judgment? And I would appreciate if you can give me some of your thoughts in what good judgment and discernment means to you, and how do you define it? And also, it's interestingly enough that a good judgment is important part of the skill for leaders. It's a leadership and a part of leadership skills. It's really about how you make decisions. It shows you your awareness, the depth of your awareness. It really, some of the synonyms that I looked at is awareness, ingenuity, quality of being clear of where you're going and how you're making decisions. It's insights, perception, good judgment, acumen, and all of these things tie into how you're making decisions. So your good judgment is really relates and includes prioritizing, meeting deadlines, and carefully planning and executing. It seems to be a lot, right? And I would love to hear from you. How do you see people sometimes that perhaps they're smart, perhaps they have great skill set in their, some horrid great skill set and technical understanding and technical knowledge, yet based on the judgment they're making in relation to making decisions, whether about their lives, about their teams, or about how they engage with others, it actually affects their performance And that's it. That's why it's related directly. Your sense of being able to gather the information and being able to sort through it to find what is important, prioritizing. And especially right now, I feel more than ever, there are so many things that bombard us. It's a informational overload all the time. The sense of being able to know your ability to figure things out, and also the sense of being able to almost like a scan and absorb the information and draw the best conclusion to make the best decision is so important. And I believe it is going to be even more important going forward. Sayfon, hello. Good. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so happy you are tuning in today. So let me know what you're thinking about this topic, because I want to have it a twofold conversation. And really the discernment, it also can help you effectively cope in difficult and stressful situations. Let's admit, whether you're in job or you're out of job right now, or you're somewhere in between negotiating, or you're running your business, there's a lot of stressful situations, and we do need to develop this discernment to be able to cope well and really make decisions to consider how they can lead and how can they eliminate the high stress so then we can meet the deadlines and meet our objectives. It's interesting that the sense of discernment, the sense of good judgment affects your professional life and affects your personal life. And whole, I would say this is our entire life, because sometimes we say work-life balance, but in fact, it's who you are and how you make decisions. And it's contributing to how you show up in your work that you do with your peers and colleagues in your professional realm, and how you show up in your life with your family, with your health, with your self-care. So the interesting statistics that I thought to share with you today is really how the discernment and how the sense of good judgment is tied to leadership. And let's look at Bloomberg was saying only 5% of businesses have implemented leadership development at all levels. So that means that only a small percentage of companies are investing in developing their people. And the Inspire is showing that 83 organizations say it is important to develop leaders at all levels, yet only 5% of them are doing that. And I could say that right now, with the pandemic, with the cutting costs, and with trying to survive for majority of the businesses, sometimes development is not at the top of their minds. Sometimes it's how do we meet the ends? How do we make the payroll? How do we try not to lay off more people? And I say, if you're working, that is a sign for you that sometimes you may not just wait for your company or your managers to try to bring your skill up and try to develop your leadership skill, which is discernment and good judgment is one of those, or one of the important ones for leaders. But take that into your own hands and start looking at how can you make improvement toward that to really equip yourself to get ready to the next level. Almost help yourself to see what you can be capable of if you start working on your own development. Also, Inspire and Bloomberg are saying 63% of millennials say that leadership skills are not being fully developed or adequately developed. So there is a recognition of the gap that majority of the people feeling that sometimes, especially in contributional roles, in the lower levels, or maybe beginning or medium, sometimes even in the management roles, you may feel that you get stuck with a lot of tactical executions. You have to move the engine. You have to get things done. And when you are constantly focusing on just moving things along, you tend to project and give that energy toward just getting things done, just getting tactics done, just getting things sorted through along. And we don't necessarily give ourselves a consideration, and we don't necessarily, or you may not necessarily give yourself a time to think through, all right, well, I'm so busy with getting all of these fires putting out and trying to survive and getting my business or my job going, but not taking time to think of what is going next, how you're going to make decisions next, how you're going to absorb the information and improve and strengthen your sense of discernment, so you can not just work inside of what needs to be done, but you can start thinking more strategically and what needs to be done in your life and in your profession and your career. So that is really important, I believe, that again, taking that responsibility, powering is, you are the one that is powering you. You are the one that needs to recognize your uniqueness. You are the one that needs to take control into your hands and don't depend on outward sources, but to say, I am here and I want to be different. I want to make difference and I want to develop and grow myself. And that's what I'm here to hopefully inspire you to do. And it's never late to start. Every day is a new beginning. So today is just another morning and just another day for us to start a new beginning and to start things afresh and start looking at what our potential can be and what we can do. So the other thing that is really interesting on the statistics is developmental dimensions. International say 85% of executives are not confident in their leadership pipelines. So majority of the companies and leaders and executives are recognizing that people are struggling with developing leadership skills, and discernment and good judgment and acumen is one of those important parts that play a role in ability of making decisions, making good, sound decisions, making everyday decisions and strategic decisions, as well as being able to have confidence that you can figure things out. And not being self-confident, but rely on the sources, rely on your team, rely on the people around you to come to the great conclusions. Sometimes we can be so much in our own heads that not asking for help, we can be strong in making decisions, but we're not asking for help, and it can backfire us because we're not gathering perspectives and the points of view from different team members. So that is really, really important. And I believe that making wise decisions is the key to unlocking your potential. So I really want you to think on this. Making wise decisions is the key to unlocking your potential. And it's everyday decisions. Sometimes what we choose to do, and every time we meet with so many decisions we have to make, sometimes it's a decision fatigue. Who has had a decision fatigue in the past, few weeks, few months, past year? So many decisions to make. I think especially for those that are running businesses and trying to take care of the business, the pipeline, and their people, there's a lot. So strengthening this ability to get clarity, to get organized, to gather the input and make the best wise decisions can help you grow and succeed and progress and certainly achieve your objectives. So I would say, what can you do now? We all know the good judgment, good decision-making, wise decision-making is important. So what can you do right now? How can you improve? How can you look at ways of moving forward with that information? So I say there are a few things that you can do, but the most important things, there are two things that I highlight that you can do. Because of course, besides those, you can research, read, and try to figure it out on your own. But the worst thing that you can do, and I hope you won't do, is just stay where you are and say, oh, that's just another information, just another, good advice. Yes, I've heard that, it can be helpful to somebody else, and just remain where you are and just stay where you are, do what you've been doing for years or months and expecting different results. You're not going to get different results if you're keeping yourself at the same level and if you're not working on developing yourself consciously and deliberately. So that I hope that you're not going to go that pathway. I'm here to encourage you and to inspire you to take control and to say, I want to do something different. How can I do that? Well, I would say, yes, you can research. Yes, you can read, and that's great. And what have helped me is to get the information of measuring your capacity, a measuring of your good judgment, measuring of your discernment. And there is a tool, a very tool that I shared in the beginning of the story that affected me, that can show you different areas of how you're making decisions, how effectively you're making them, and what can prevent you from exercising the best discernment and the best judgment that you can have. And what are the areas of opportunities that you can look into, and perhaps you don't know that they are there, and work on developing those. So that tool is very unique in the way, and I am very happy to say that I'm certified to work and counsel and consult with that tool, and I will be happy to share more on that ongoingly. But if you're interested, let me know. You can let me know either in the comments here on this broadcast, or send me a note on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to really dive deeper into what it can do for you and how it can help you to strengthen this discernment and sense of good judgment. Now, what I could say is take action. Think about what are the areas that you can improve. And when you have this awareness, when you have the knowledge, it's easier to take action. And going back to that story that I started with, when I worked with this fantastic lady with her background in HR, and when she offered me this assessment tool, really it's awareness tool. She said, it's going to benefit you. And we sat down and I looked at it, and I was really excited about certain things, and certain things were not quite clear to me. And it's interestingly enough that the conversation turned into what is going in my personal life. I was expecting that we're going to talk about my performance. How can I improve and get better at work, at what I do in my professional career? But she said, no. Let's look at what's going on in your personal life. Let's look at how you treat yourself. Let's look at your self-criticism. And there were a few things that stood out to me that I knew that I was lacking, and I did not really want to even focus on those things because I dismissed them as not being important. Yet those were the really core of what held me back from becoming the best I can be, from growing toward the success that I want to achieve in my life and in my job. And there were 5 things that stood out from that particular conversation. Is the biggest one is self-criticism. And when you look at it, a lot of people, and you might think so, we always do our best. We get ready, we get put on for our work, and we exercise our upper body. We exercise how good we are at work, and then we come back and we take off almost sometimes this persona of how we are at work, and our inner core of truly who we are is sometimes weak and not very fully developed. We criticize ourselves for what we have not done, for maybe we've missed something, or maybe we feel we're not achieved something, or we have said something incorrectly. So we criticize and being too hard on ourselves. And what happens is when you do so, you start depleting yourself of energy. You start stripping yourself of your own abilities and capabilities for growth. And the longer you do this to yourself, and it sometimes is very hidden and unknown, but the longer you do this self-critical internal conversation, then somehow, inevitably, you start projecting them on others. You start criticizing others. You can start criticizing, most likely start criticizing those you live with, your family members, or you have not done this, or you've done this wrong. So you're offering others criticism. And that's a big sign that if people offer others criticism, they're most likely very self-critical toward themselves. They're unhappy about themselves. They're not accepting themselves fully. And that is not very easy to determine and not very easy to bring on to surface, to really look at it and say yes. But then when you look at it and say, yes, I'm doing that, what can you do different? How can you tackle that? Well, you're going to have to offer yourself a little bit more praise. You're going to have to offer yourself, a pat on the shoulder, say, you're not doing that bad. You're actually doing quite well. Through all of this chaos, through all of these difficulties, you are making small but sturdy progress toward your objective, toward you want to achieve. So offering that sincere praise to yourself, noticing small wins that you've done today or during the week, and then finding a way to notice those good things and positive things around you, especially with those you leave, those you love. Sometimes we focus so much on negative, on things that are lacking, and those things just get out of proportion. So shifting that focus, giving that encouragement and praise internally, and then offering it to others, it can strengthen your ability to make better decisions, make a better judgment. Isn't that, it was just I don't know, it was a little bit of a discovery for me to notice that simple thing, but yet it's so profound and it can impact us in such a, I say, profound level. And the other things is really, how do you handle conflict? Are you coming as like, this is the way I know and I'm the only right one? Or are you retract and you're saying, well, I'm not quite sure, I want to avoid conflict. Or for me, I don't like conflict. I want to avoid conflict. But conflict is healthy, and there is there are learning lessons that we can learn from conflict, and conflicts are inevitable. So that was a big aha moment for me, to realize that, to know that I need to work on my conflict resolution skills. And because I'm scared or afraid, so to speak, of conflict, I may not go into heated conversations because I feel that, I may offend somebody. So it can prevent me from developing my leadership skill, developing my good judgment, because the bigger problems you want to solve, the more conflict there probably will be. So learning how to navigate conflict effectively is a key. Self-care, self-regard, it's similar to how critical you are to yourself, but it's another coin of it is, we are in a time where we feel to run, work, get it done. And if you're with that clapper internally, go, all the time, like me, I can relate to that. It's hard to stop and be in the moment. It's hard to find the purposeful moments of recharging and rejuvenation. It's hard sometimes because there's so much pressure, there's so much requirement, whether it is external or internal, your family, your work. We tend to be so much into that upbeat, on our toes, let's go run. Every day is a run. And taking time and taking moments to refuel and recharge, interestingly enough, can affect on your decision making. Interestingly enough, can affect on your sense of good judgment, strengthen your discernment, because when you fuel yourself, when you recharge yourself, you can start new projects, you can start new ideas, you can think about solving a particular problem from a different angle because you are full of energy. You're not working on 5% battery all the time, like your phone on the 5%, you're like, you don't know when it's die, right? You're looking at your cell phone, you got to charge it. And to charge it doesn't charge in 2 seconds. You're going to charge it, plug it in, and let it sit there for, an hour or so to let it fully charge. But we don't do that to ourselves. We run on 5% battery. You mostly likely do that. I do that sometimes to myself. And then I charge myself for 5 seconds and I think, well, I'm fully charged. Well, that doesn't work like that. So recognizing those hidden details can make truly big difference. And this is what I really loved about this particular tool, that it shows you some of those things that you just don't pay attention typically and normally. You just don't think that this affects your performance. This affects your leadership. This affects on how you show up and how you move forward toward your achievements. And the other thing that is really stood out to me is clutter. How much clutter do we have? Mental, emotional, physical clutter. When we are so cluttered, we take a lot of energy in organizing all that clutter within our brain, outside of us. So decluttering, and I love to look into minimalist living. I haven't looked into that, but I'm almost like drawn into that. Decluttering your physical space, decluttering your mental space, decluttering your emotions can help you be more organized and really determine what do you need to focus on? Where do you need to project your energy to? Because most of the times you might find yourself working on things that are urgent, putting out fires, schedule. And we don't tend to be mindful and strategic about what is important. And then we miss it because we've been fighting fires and we've been fighting what's urgent for most of our day. And we have no energy left to really focus on what is important. And clutter can affect that. And clutter can strip you of that clarity because there's just so many things in your head, so many things in your emotions, so many things around you. So those are just a few interesting points that I didn't even think about, that those things can affect my ability of making good decisions and my ability of being more strategic and my ability to perform better. So what can you do from now? I invite you to have a further conversation. If what we've covered today is interesting to you, what we've covered today ignites your I say kind of, you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I want to know more. I want to learn and really get into this and really help yourself to gain a little bit of deeper awareness on how you can improve in different areas. This tool that I'm talking about really offers assessment of about 70 different areas, and it's 14 areas in your professional abilities or skill set, 14 areas in your personal abilities and skill set, how balanced you are, how you see yourself. It measures your global skill and how you make decisions based on intrinsic, extrinsic, and strategic. And that is how you relate to people, how you relate to tasks, and how you relate to strategy, the big thinking. And many people think, well, I'm strategic. I may be running a CEO, I'm a running company, I'm a strategic person. And interestingly enough, that if your strategy is on the lower case, but your people skill or task skill on the higher case where you're valuing it more, you naturally not going to go toward this. The strategy is not going to be your strengths. You're naturally not going to go toward that. You're going to spend a lot of energy on making your process, making your tactics work, and you're going to spend a lot of time on people. So gaining that awareness can be truly instrumental. Beverly, thank you so much for joining in and saying such a sound advice and statement. I appreciate that, Beverly. I hope this has been helpful. It's been my inspiration to share this information for quite some time, and I'm so excited to share this with you. Now, going back to this conversation with my coach, when I shared with you, and when she gave me this awareness tool, and I took it, and I'm really happy I did that. I actually got certified in it, and I've helped the employees for the company I worked for to improve their performance and to gain a deeper understanding of what their leadership skill set and qualities are and how they can improve not just the performance, but their sense of good judgment and discernment and make better decisions. And now I'm just excited to offer this to anybody. I'm offer this to professionals and offer this to teams. This is quite a phenomenal tool. And interestingly enough, I took it again in December last year. And I can share with you that was an eye-opening to me because it is not something that you take and you say, oh, now I am done for life. It is fluid, and it really affects on how you make values and your decision and your progress. And if you're growing, things are going to be fluid. And I hope we're all growing every day. So I was really surprised, because when I looked at it, I strengthened my strategic ability, which I was really focusing on in the past few years. But certain areas slipped. Certain areas, like we talked about, self-care, the clutter, the ability to, handle conflict. Certain areas in my personal life slipped, and I start thinking about what are the things that affected me in those areas. So it was really great exercise, even taking it again and reflecting on what can I shift. And I realized I've put too many things on my plate. There were just so many things that I get overwhelmed about what I need to focus on, and how can I move myself toward my objective, toward what I want to achieve personally and professionally. So I say you have a choice. What can you do? You can stay where you are, or you can reach out. Let's have a further conversation of how can this awareness tool can help you or your team to improve your sense of discernment, to strengthen your sense of good judgment, and also help you improve your leadership skills and get overall awareness on how you can navigate through the opportunities that you need to focus on, and what strengths do you possess that you know that you have them and you can fully utilize them to your advantage. So I would say imagine what you can accomplish. Imagine what you can create for yourself if you get that type of awareness. And how can you improve your decisions, how you make decisions for your everyday life, for your career, for your strategic looking at the bigger picture of your life and where you want to go, and how can you implement that and bring that value to your work, the work that you're doing, to your team, and to the company that you're working for. So I say really having this deeper awareness can transform your life and your professional trajectory for sure. And it's been my privilege to share this with you. Let me know if you want to have more discussion on this. I'll be sharing more goodness about that on LinkedIn as well. So stay tuned. And I'm so happy to share this with you today. Victoria saying, thank you. And thank you, my friend, for tuning in. Beverly saying, always help you. Thank you so much, my friends, for tuning in. And thank you for letting me know about technical issues earlier today. I'm so happy it worked out. It's been my privilege to be here with you. Thank you for giving me your time. I am so excited to stay in touch with you. A lot of fun things coming. So stay tuned every week. I have fantastic guests coming in soon. And I am here to serve you. I'm here to encourage you. And I'm here to say, keep powering your unique you, my friend. Keep growing. Keep strengthening. And set yourself up so you can achieve your objectives and you can achieve what you want to achieve and become the person you want to be in this life. And I think when we do this together collectively, we can truly make this place, this world, a different place, a little bit of a better world for everybody to be in. So it starts with us. So let's be the change. Let's be the light. Thank you, my friend. I'm so happy to see you, and I will see you again next week. Take care and have a fantastic week ahead.